was. I never was an athlete, even when I was thinner. I lived in California during the heyday of running in the 70s, and I never even wanted to run. I thought they were crazy. I decided to try losing weight one last time in May of 2008, and pretty much all I did was restrict my calories. I didn't exercise because I didn't think that was necessary. The only thing I did was leisurely ride my bike around my neighborhood, and I'm seriously, that is all the exercise I did. And I took this picture. I was so proud. I had gotten this bike after about a month of losing weight. This is when I had like already lost about 20 pounds, but it's the best before picture I have, so I was going to pass it around just so you know. Great look at that. Anyways, after I had lost 100 pounds, I finally decided maybe I should do a little more exercise. And so I found some trainers that worked out with small groups because I didn't know how to do anything or work at the gym or anything. And one of the things they did was put me on a treadmill, and I kind of liked it. I was surprised. And so, you know, every couple of days I'd be on the treadmill for just a little bit, and eventually I told my trainer, I said, you know, I wouldn't mind running a mile one of these days. And I was thinking like in 6 months I would run a mile. And about 3 weeks later, she had me outside running a mile. I could not believe how you could ramp up your running, but she did. And I liked it. So then I thought, well, maybe I'll run a 5K. And I did my first 5K in January of 2010. And it was really fun. I just really liked it. I'm not fast. I'm not competitive, but it was just fun. It was fun to be with a bunch of runners, and we all did this thing. And a few weeks later, I did the 5K at the Armadillo Dash in 2010. And my trainer, one of my trainers, was running the half marathon. And so I stayed afterwards to cheer him in. And when he was done, he got this medal. And I was like, oh, I'm over a medal. And then I come to find out that you don't get a medal unless you run a half marathon or a full marathon. And I was like, oh crap, well, I'm never going to get a medal because there's just no way I will ever, you know, that's crazy. So I kept on running my 5Ks, and I just really enjoyed it. I loved that you would go and you would get this t-shirt that said, and some of you are wearing t-shirts from races that says, I'm a runner, I did this, you know. I liked the whole running atmosphere. I liked getting bagels and bananas afterwards. It was just great. And a friend of mine who was new into running too, we kept talking about the medals. And finally she found, she heard about the Galveston Seawall Half Marathon. It was in November. And they said the course was flat and fast. And I thought, well, I'm not going to be fast, but I like the idea that it was flat. And so we said, okay, we're going to do this. This is in May. I'm like, oh, things in November, I can handle that. I can get up to that. And so over the summer, I read some books about training for a half marathon, and I ran a little bit. And then there's online programs about training for half marathons. So I printed those out, and I ran a little bit. And then I started to panic because, you know, this November was coming up, and I was like not ready for this half marathon. And it just was luck. I Googled running clubs, Bryan College Station, and this club popped up, and it was like 2 weeks from when it was going to start the training for their Austin half marathon, which was in February. So I signed up, and I came out here, and everybody was so nice. It was just such a normal people. We're normal people. We're not these elite runners, and I love that. And so I started running, and pretty quickly I realized when I was looking at the schedule, because I was running with the half marathoners, that I was not going to get my mileage up for my half in November, because we were training for a race in February. So I had to leave my half group, which I really loved, and I had to join the full group to train with them. And they were scary because these guys had committed to running 26 miles, not that they were insane. And my first day with them, we had to run 4 miles. And I was so nervous, and I just took off, and I was like, oh gosh, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die. And I'm running, and maybe just a couple minutes later, Joni caught up with me, and she stayed with me the entire time, ran with me the whole 4 miles, distracted me, located me, and all of a sudden we were done. And I was like, okay, this is doable, this is okay, I can do this. And it was really just, it was great, you know, it was just fun to come and meet here every Saturday and do this. And I I wanted to tell you, just read a story. I have a blog, and so I would sort of recap our Saturday runs for the blog. And, you know, the runs are fun, but they're not all fun. And that's part of the whole challenge, is getting through it. And we had this run, and I think we called it the Death March. It was it was our first 12-mile run that we did. It was really hot and humid. It was crazy. And so I just wanted to read my blog entry about that, just to let you know. And you'll never have it this time, because we're not even going to ever run 12 miles. But this is my blog entry that I wrote for that day. I said, on Saturday I did what was the hardest thing to date in my life. I ran 12 miles. At 7 a.m. in 73-degree weather with 100% humidity, yes, it was raining lightly. It was brutal right from the start. From shoelaces that need to be tightened, to shorts that felt wonky, to the shoelace that finally came untied, and this was just in the first mile. Between the rain and my sweat, I was drenched. Then I got that burning red hot face thing going on. I finished up the coconut water in my handheld way too early because I was so hot and had to wait until mile 6 to refill it with water. My legs and hamstrings started cramping up. I lost sight of everyone, and I had convinced myself that I was miles behind the group. I even thought I missed a turn somewhere in the same neighborhood that we always run through. I felt like I was in there forever. This was miles 6 through 8. I quit 100 times in my head during those miles. And I knew that when I came out of that neighborhood, I could choose to run straight for another half a mile and get back here to our meeting place, and where I was convinced that everybody had already managed to come back to. Or I could turn left and commit to the last 4 miles. Running 8.5 miles was not something to be ashamed of, but this was supposed to be my last long run before I started tapering for Galveston. However, I was hot, cramping up, getting dehydrated, and miserable. Who could blame me for quitting? I went back and forth over that decision, and just as I was coming out of that neighborhood, Tiffany, one of my half-buddies, drove by waving and smiling at me, and I turned left. And amazingly, as the road curved, I saw a blue shirt and a white shirt ahead of me, granted far, far ahead of me, but still people, my people. I was never so happy to see Daryl and Coach Dale in my life. I had convinced myself that everyone else had finished the run and was resting at our meeting place, so it was huge to see these two guys. I saw them stop at mile 9 marker to refill their water bottles and noticed them stretching, so I did the same. At that point, my back and arches had joined my calves and hamstrings in the cramping game. Although I had some goo chomps with me, obviously I needed salt, and had I been carrying cash, I would have stopped at the Exxon station just before mile 10 and bought some pretzels. I always carry cash with me to help with me. I'm running down Harvey Road. I kept moving from mailbox to mailbox, walking when I needed to. As if the run wasn't nightmarish enough, I saw the head of what was a large bird in my path. Then a little while later, an entire dead bird. Then around mile 11, a dead snake in the gutter right in front of me. And yes, I screamed like a girl, jumped into the road, and startled the driver who was coming toward me. Running and walking, I managed to follow Daryl back to our starting point. I made it in, and Coach Dale met me with a cold washcloth. I covered my face and just started crying. Everything hurt. I was in shock at how hard this had been. I could barely walk. I felt so bad. He put his arm around me and told me that I did a great job and that this was really hard for everyone. And that's when I saw my fellow full people looking pretty miserable too. Hearing other people say it took forever to get out of that neighborhood, and listening to both of the fastest runners say how much their legs were hurting them. Well, I'd like to say I didn't feel so bad. I can't. I felt plenty bad. But at least I knew that it wasn't hard just for me. It was hard for everybody. But we all conquered that run, and that was something to be celebrated. USA Fit got me to my half marathon in November. It was another hot, humid day. Good thing we trained for that. But it was a fun event, from the group pasta dinner the night before, to meeting up that morning and sharing our nerves, to running from Stewart Beach to Moody Gardens, to getting that medal. That pretty, pretty medal. And knowing that I'd actually run 13.1 miles. I loved my group, and I loved the friendships that I made. I loved all the runs, good and bad. My husband, who stood on the sidelines during the races, and who helped man the water stations during our benchmark runs, even caught the running bug, and he's joining us today as a runner. And while I ended up with an ankle injury in January that sidelined me for nearly 3 months, and I didn't get to run Austin, I would not have missed on this for the world. My name is Shelly, and thanks to USA Fit, I'm a half marathoner. I actually have a poster that I made of all my half marathon pictures that you can look into.
Yeah, you'll have to look at that. Thank you so much, Shelly. That was great. So.